Oh, good afternoon, Jeremy.
Good afternoon, Donald. How you doing today?
I'm making it, man. Another day, another busy day.
Yeah. And another impromptu show, although we kind of scheduled it and I forgot.
Usually it's me that forgets.
Yep. I've already got this thing shared out to a bunch of different places.
Just a little bit.
All the groups that I share this out to, as far as I can tell, they all accept it, so we're good to go.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about the Money in the Bank 2025, which was held this last Saturday. So we're still got it fresh in our memory a little bit. Jeremy's doing the whole beard thing going on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I decided to try to grow it out. I was growing out at one time, and yeah, the thing that I don't like is when the mustache gets long and this gets long, and it's easier to just shave it down and then let it grow back out and then shave it down again. I'll just leave this. Um, I was looking at my bowling pictures from the past years when I go to nationals. Just 5 years ago, I did not have this much white.
That's
It,
called a.
I know. I will be 45 in 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks.
I still got a few more months before I turn 54.
Yeah, I know. I know. So because of this and all the white in my hair, I look a lot older than you do.
Yeah. Yeah, with my job, I can't have a beard anyway. But like if I'm off for a few days and I don't shave for 4 or 5 days, it starts getting like just itchy. I gotta get rid of it. It drives me insane.
Yeah, for me, it's right here is where it get itchy. This part here never bothers me. It's right here where you get that 90-degree angle
Yeah,
in the skin. That's where it itches for me.
mine will do like right up under here and all. And like I need to shave now. I have to shave before I go to class in a little bit. Right.
Okay, so Money in the Bank. It was held in Inglewood, California, at the Intuit Dome, and this is the same place I believe that they had Monday Night Raw debut on Netflix. I think it was the same location. Checking to see. Yep, it was same location where they had Monday Night Raw's debut on Netflix, and they had 17,514 people then, and at Money in the Bank they had 17,069 people. So four matches were scheduled, and then an impromptu match was scheduled during Worlds Collide, which was only a couple hours before. And I was actually kind of worried about this because for me, Worlds Collide started at 3 o'clock, and they had the countdown show for Money in the Bank at 5:30. First match starting at 7, and I'm thinking that only gives them 2.5 hours unless there's going to be some overrun time. Turned out 2.5 hours was exactly the amount of time they needed to do 5 matches, whereas 5 matches at Money in the Bank was almost 4 hours.
Yeah. I had to watch the replay on Money in the Bank. I was actually working. some Saturday. I didn't get a chance to watch when Worlds Collide, but I'm gonna pick it up sometime or another here in the next few days. Try to watch it. I'm still trying to watch the last pay per view from NXT. I haven't got to,
Battleground.
yeah, I haven't got to complete Battleground yet, but I'm in the process of watching that show. I did, however, watch most of Raw last night, mostly on kind of replay ish here and there. Of course, I was on social media and accidentally saw some outcomes which I wasn't happy about, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, Battleground was definitely history making, that's for sure. A good night too, from what I remember. And speaking of good night, Money in the Bank, really all the way through was a very good event. I thought.
There was just that one match that I really didn't care for. Not that it was a bad match, I just wasn't into it. I think it's because of not really any storyline to it um, with Dominic and
Octagon.
yeah, so it's kind of just a kind of thrown in match to me.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit of a thing to it. Um,
And it may be because I didn't watch When Worlds Collide. It may have been built up there. Um,
yeah, because there was a big blow up at Worlds Collide, and that's where the match was made for Money in the Bank. Um, and I watched Worlds Collide. It was really good. It was different. Um, Corey Graves and Conan were the commentators.
really,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Conan in a very long time. Uh, I actually met him, got pictures with him at one of the house shows a long time ago when NWO and all that was big. They came to Jackson, and me and my uncle went
Yeah.
and saw the event, and um, we got to go. We went back where they were basically getting back in their cars and stuff like that, and he come out and greeted fans. I got a an autograph because we had took a NWO sign, Wolfpack sign with us, and he actually signed that. I don't know where in the hell it's at now, but I do have pictures with Conan from
Got to
back
be
in the
somewhere
day.
in that big house of yours.
Shoot, we've moved a couple times, so I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin to look for it.
Yeah.
Um, it may be a point where I trash the sign and just cut out the Conan signature somewhere.
Oh. Well, I suggest you better start looking.
That and the Junkyard Dog 8x10 signature that I've got. Um, I still cannot find that. It's here. I've seen it, but I've looked and looked and cannot find that thing. I've hid it from myself.
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that was,
a dog would be the one to have. Although Conan at one time was considered the Hulk Hogan of Mexican wrestling.
yeah. I always enjoyed his ring entrances and his wrestling and all.
Yeah.
Another guy back from that day was Billy Kidman. I really enjoyed. I liked Billy Kidman. This kind of cruiserweight um, wrestling style.
And Conan is the reason we even got Rey Mysterio.
Really.
Yep. He was the one that had Ray brought into ECW, and he was the one that had him brought into WCW. But yeah, I thought it was interesting for Conan to be on the commentary for that day. He and Coy didn't quite have chemistry like um, Michael and Coy did, but it was pretty good to get his perspective on the matches. And plus, at the very beginning of the thing, he was warning everybody, "Hey, this is not American wrestling. You're going to be seeing a lot more aerobatics, a lot more high risk, faster pace, everything." So he was telling us from the get go, this is not going to be anything like what we're used to. Um, and he was right, but it was still very entertaining. Um, balls to the wall every match. My favorite of the night was between both events was Mr. Iguana, and you are just going to have to watch him when he makes his entrance, comes out from behind, when he gets into the ring, his move set, the way that he reacts to people, he is just phenomenal. Um,
Is he like Penta on steroids?
I wouldn't say no, I wouldn't say that, but he's a little more showboaty. And I'll give you one for example. You know how when the wrestlers they get their legs wrapped around somebody's head and then they start spinning around the ring before they jump. Mr. Iguana, when he was doing that, he had his hands like this while he was spinning around, like he was a superhero getting ready to flip the other guy over.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to watch it.
You have got to watch it, and he's first match.
Okay.
He's first match. Um, and actually, I think he's the first one to come out. Period for the match. Um, but yeah, you got to watch it. And Mr. Iguana, because of the reaction that he got, he was invited to come over to Money in the Bank and have that little cameo appearance.
Yo.
Yeah. Um, I expect big things from him, and I expect that we're going to be seeing a lot more of him as well. I've already posted under our account on X, hey, we want to see him at the Rumble. So maybe we will. So getting back to Money in the Bank, they were at the Intuit Dome. Um, Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, and Wade Barrett on commentating. Alicia Taylor on ring announcer. I still don't like her. Um, it's like there is no gray area for her. People either really like her or they cannot stand her. I'm one of those that can't stand her. It's something about her voice.
Yeah, I'm at the point, especially with the rewatches. I can skip through entrances. I can skip through the whole announcement stuff, and I can go right to action with it. So it's the one thing I like about doing reviews. Plus, I can skip commercials, so it don't take us long to watch the show.
Right? I wish they would bring in that guy from SmackDown. Um, I don't know his name, but I hear that they got him from one of the MMA organizations. He was one of their announcers. There's your camera again. He was one of their announcers, and now he's on SmackDown. And I say he's even better than Samantha.
Really?
Yeah. So I so I would like to see him on. He's like Mike Rome on steroids. So first match of the night is the women's ladder match, Money in the Bank.
You
Naomi,
kind of knew you kind of knew that match was coming first.
yeah, yeah. I figured that one would be first, especially since um, Chad Gable had the main event, Worlds Collide. That would have been tall order for him to be opening Money in the Bank. So for the women, she had Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vakir. Now I know your heart was broken when Stephanie Vakir won because that meant Liv Morgan wasn't going to be in there
You're talking about.
when they were qualifying for the match.
Oh, I kind of expected it. Um, I kind of expected her to win. They're pushing her a good bit,
Mhm.
moving her from NXT to the main roster. I heard she had a match at Worlds Collide also.
She did.
So you know, not really bothering me a whole lot, but because I knew one, Liv has got what the tag title.
Hmm.
So I knew kind of they're not going to put her in there for a Money in the Bank run. They're going to do something totally different with her, um, storyline wise, and they're still mixed up in that. I don't know where they're going with it or how long it's going to take for the explosion to happen in Judgment Day, but it's coming.
Doesn't it seem like every year there's some kind of an implosion on the Judgment Day?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Dom, and I think maybe by SummerSlam we'll have a mixed tag match with Dom and Liv versus Finn and is it Roxanne? Yeah,
That would be. You can see it on Finn's face. He is enjoying the drama that's going on. He is not even hiding it.
yeah. The whole issue with her coming in and giving Dom chicken nuggets and back rubs and shit ain't gonna fly when Liv shows back up.
It's like 2024 was Rhea, 2025 is Liv, and now as we get closer to 2026, it's going to be Roxanne.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go the same route with Dom, side over with Roxanne as opposed to Liv. I think it's gonna be I think Finn and her are gonna start hitting it off
Hey, you
and
never know. Dominic is basically the wrestling Lothario for the WWE.
so I just see that coming as a mixed tag match down the road. At least that's what I want to see. You know.
It may happen. It may happen.
Did I see?
And
No, that
it's
was
a shame that Judgment Day has lost Carlito.
yeah. Which I mean, he was just a Saints sideshow guy over there. He really didn't do much.
Yeah. Well, he was actually kind of glad that he wasn't wrestling as much because he says his body just can't take it as much as like it used to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard a interview with somebody. I forgot who it was. They were talking about that same thing where you got wrestlers that really aren't wrestling every week and they're not taking those bumps and everything. And when they do get in there, it's kind of
The
not
interview,
necessarily.
the interview that I saw him with was Chris Van Vliet.
Well, this wasn't him. This was a female wrestler. and they were talking about getting back in and hitting the mat and all that. It's like, my God, it's like, this stings, this hurts.
Uh,
Forget how bad it hurts. I think it was a female wrestler that wasn't that was just coming in, and that first match was like, this mat is not as soft as I thought it was. It's like it's pretty solid, and they were talking about somebody that wrestles on a day to night basis or a week to week basis is used to the bumps and everything else, so it kind of not really numbs you, but you're just used to it as
yeah.
opposed to somebody
Well,
coming in, every couple
he is
months.
46 years old. Um, oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. He is 46 years old. But he also just became the WWC Puerto Rican champion a few weeks ago. So now their ring match probably a lot different from WWE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see videos every once in a while of different indie matches or different indie uh, factions. And there was one I saw was like when I saw these guys doing performing some of their stuff off the top rope and landing, I was like, good God, that's got a lot of padding in that freaking ring. 'Cause you could see, you know, the way the ring was set up, it was kind of the mat was kind of wavy from all the padding. I was like, good Lord, that's a
Wow.
lot of padding in it.
So it'd be a lot easier on them there, which would make it a rude awakening when they go somewhere else.
Yeah, and a lot of those indie stuff, man, they do just some crazy stuff. Just insane, extreme stuff. It's like, good Lord,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna get really bad.
Well, WWC is a very violent. Hey, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
WWC is a very violent organization. Because you look at Carlos Colon, Carlito's father, his forehead is all scarred up, and it was scarred up in '93 when he came to the '93 Rumble.
Is this our Joe from Come Along With Us?
Yeah, he changed
Okay.
this. He changed his name, his profile name.
Okay, now it makes sense to me that I see the logo and all. I got
Yeah,
tagged in a post on Messenger earlier about some pictures on
yeah,
a vehicle
he
and all
just
that. I was
changed
like,
it.
who is this guy? But now it makes sense to me why I'm like, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. The car looks good, man.
he just changed it a week ago. So a lot of crazy things happening in this women's match. Um, Stephanie Vaquer and Rhea Ripley. That is a match I want to see.
That's coming.
Yeah.
Um, the devil's kiss on the ladder.
Yeah.
That was good. Um, yeah, I see them two clashing soon and having a match, singles match, with whatever. Um, I believe this is a match where they started setting up. I don't remember who it was. But they started setting up a ladder to kind of start the whole thing of trying to get the briefcase. And I'm like, what is she doing with that short ladder? It's like it's an 8 foot ladder. You're not reaching shit with that.
I don't remember the short ladder. I do remember Rhea being buried under 10 ladders.
Yeah, and they kept sliding off too.
Yeah.
You could see the first one that when they threw it on top of her, you could see her where she, reached through and held the ladder so they could throw the rest of them on there. And every time they'd land on them, they just kept sliding off.
Huh.
I was like, but that was good. And of course, she got out and she was pissed whenever she got out from underneath all of them. I did see the little botch with when they had her pinned in the ladder in the ring, and they were trying to slam it shut, and it kept catching on the locks.
Yeah.
It's like after one time, you should figure like, all right, kick that lock forward. That way you can do what you got to do.
For a moment there, I thought Naomi was badly injured.
Yes, that was the
I
that
think it
sling.
was Julia when she was doing that leg sweep thing.
Yeah, where she takes her legs. They're in the corner, and they're in when she's sitting on the second rope, and she puts both legs
Yeah.
on the outside of the ropes, and then grabs the other one, and slings her down. It looked like Naomi's leg got caught on that second rope and kind of twisted awkwardly, and she immediately went down and started holding her knee. Um, and I was like, oh, she might really be hurt.
Yeah, because we didn't see her for a while after that.
Right. I could see on the outside the referee talking to her and all that. And even when she got back up and got back into the action, but she had a little bit of a limp. And I'm like, I wonder if she's selling or is she really hurt? But then she started climbing the ladder, and didn't seem to be affecting her. I was like, well, maybe she was just doing the work on it.
I I think maybe there was a little bit of a strain to it, and she had to walk it off. Um, but no, I really thought that she was suffering a similar injury to what Rey Mysterio did when he had his groin pulled or
Hmm.
stretched or whatever it was. I thought she had something similar to that. Um, so and she was my pick to win this match.
Naomi,
Yeah,
really?
she was my pick
I
to win this match.
I really expected either Alexa or Stephanie to win. Um, I just thought that they were pushing Stephanie a great deal, and I was like, they're going to wind up letting her take the title or take the briefcase. I was
That's
surprised. I was
so
surprised
fast.
when Naomi won it. Which it may be the fact too of Naomi's getting older. And I'm not sure where they're going with this storyline with this. I figure at some point in time, it's going to be mixed in with.
She is 37. Let's run down the list here. Alexa is 33. I keep thinking she's older than that because she's been around for so long.
She started very young.
Yeah, she did. Julia is 31. Rhea's 28. Hard to believe that she's the youngest of this crew. No, 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 no. I take that back. Roxanne is 23.
Yeah,
And Stephanie is 32.
I
So,
figure with Naomi winning it, there's going to be some kind of mixture in there somehow or another with Bianca and Jade somewhere down the road. Um, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I figure they're going to clash somewhere.
oh,
Somebody's got to lose the title somewhere to like uh, like if Jade winds up getting a title shot and beating whichever champion is there.
well, I think that's what's going to end up happening. Naomi will cash in and win the title, and then she'll end up losing it to Jade.
Probably.
That's what I think will happen. Um, Even though she was my pick, realistically, I was thinking maybe Stephanie or Rhea. Um, but just like Alexa, Rhea's been around for so long that I keep forgetting that she's not even 30 yet.
Right.
Um, and she has had this rise that I don't think any other female has actually had, and that's including Charlotte. Because Rhea got over organically with the fans.
Yeah,
Charlotte,
primarily even if even if she's playing the heel, she's just got that charisma about her.
yes.
I don't want to put her in the same category, but it's kind of like China. Um,
People have compared her to her.
but it's kind of that same thing. She's different than everybody else on the roster.
Yes.
Um, so
And it's hard to believe when you look at the pictures of her when she first came to NXT. She is this bleached blonde girl who looked like he came from California or Florida.
and slowly that transition started taking over the next couple of years to what you have now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Um, but I was happy to see Naomi win it because let's see, I don't think she has had very many. Let's see, two-time SmackDown Women's Champion, which is now the World Championship. She is a two-time Women's Tag Team Champion. Uh, she won the. Let's see. She won the first. No, no, not the first. She won what was then going to be known as the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal when they were doing the female equivalent, and then they had a horrible backlash on that one. So she won that one. They only did 2 years of that battle royal, which I think stinks. And now she's Money in the Bank. So she is not very well decorated here. So maybe it's time for her to get that next title. So, but I thought this was a fantastic match. Like I was telling you earlier, it was between this and the men's ladder match for match of the night. Um, all those memorable spots, Rhea being buried in the underneath the ladders, the her getting the devil's kiss from Stephanie on the ladder. Uh,
and I kind of figured that was going to happen to somebody in that match. I just didn't know
yeah,
who or when.
but that had to have been difficult to do.
Yeah, especially the way they do it. You don't have a whole lot of clearance. As far as your face hitting those ladder rungs.
Yeah.
So,
So, and I don't know. I don't think Naomi will hold on to the briefcase for very long. I think she'll try to cash it in as soon as she can, and I think she will go after Tiffany.
that's what I'm thinking. Um, maybe we may even see as quick as SummerSlam. Um,
Could be. Could. So the next match was the impromptu one. That's Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental title against Octagon Junior. So since you didn't watch um, Worlds Collide, I'll set it up for you. Octagon Junior was in the six-man tag that opened Worlds Collide. Um, he was teaming up with Mister Iguana, and when the match is over, I don't remember who pinned who, but it was Octagon Junior, Mister Iguana. They won that match, and Octagon came out and had an argument with Dominic. Dominic and Liv were sitting front row,
mhm.
and then all of a sudden they just went at it, pushing each other, hitting each other. Dominic came over the railing. They were fighting on the floor, and then they were fighting in the ring. A lot of people coming in, separating them. Dominic got out, grabbed the microphone, and said, "I will see you at Money in the Bank," and said that he will make sure that he puts the Intercontinental title on the line. Yes, Joe, I like that iguana guy too.
I'm definitely going to go back and watch this.
Yeah, you have got to watch it. It gave me reminiscences of Gold Dust.
Okay.
So, so Dominic said that he will make sure to put the Intercontinental title on the line, which I thought was a weird thing to say. Kind of a weird thing to say. He should have said that I will even put the title on the line, not I will make sure to. That's I thought that was weird.
Cool. They
So
could have, the way they're doing it is like, I'll see you, but I want a title shot,
yeah,
or even make it a title shot at the event. Announce that, hey, this is going to be a title shot.
maybe I don't know. So so that set up this match for Money in the Bank. Um, and it was just barely 5 minutes long, but I really enjoyed that match.
It had a lot of stuff. It had a lot of moveset stuff in it. Thinking back, back before we talked, before we came on here. Um, so it wasn't the whole thing on it, and we were talking about best matches, worst matches before the show started. I had the two ladder matches and uh, crap,
The main
the
event.
women's match as fairly close. I really enjoyed Becky Lynch uh, and Valkyria's match. Thought it was really good. Didn't like the outcome, but I understood the outcome.
Hmm. So Dominic and Octagon you had as the worst match.
And it wasn't the fact that it was the worst match, but yeah. But I mean, the whole pay per view was kind of solid. All
See,
right, Joe. Have a good one, Joe. Um, it was at least favorite match. I'll say that of the night.
yeah, I really liked it because it's because Dominic just keeps improving so much. That is clear. It's like he's not afraid to go high risk like before. Not being as I don't want to say not being as careful or cautious because he has to be, but he seems to be more comfortable doing
The high
certain
risk stuff.
yeah. Um, and I think that for the fact that this match was only 5 minutes long, they packed a lot in those 5 minutes.
That last frog splash was crazy. It was like he got some height.
Yeah. Um, I was figuring on Dominic to win, but with the way that things were going, it wouldn't have surprised me if Octagon did win because a now you have somebody outside of WWE holding a WWE championship, sort of like what they're doing with the TNA title right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not have been surprised if Octagon had won, but I was still going with Dominic on this one. Yeah, I'm very high on him. He is really he's one of the best out there right now.
Yeah, I've warmed up to him, like I said in a couple previous shows and all that. I've warmed up to him over the past year. You know, I was with everybody else, with mostly everybody else when he won the Intercontinental. I was like, yes, finally, he's got it.
Yep.
See what he does with it now. And you know, I'm enjoying Dom's matches, even
Yeah.
though he's the heel. And I think there's a lot of other people that are the same way, regardless if he's a heel or babyface. They're rooting for Dom.
Yeah. Well, it's very clear that WWE has a lot of faith in him, and I think it's well deserved.
I would like to see Ray's last match be a tag team with Dom before he hangs up for good.
I'm sure Dominic will be in Ray's last match. It's just now, rather if it'll be as a tag team or against each other.
Or if they go against each other and have this whole father son moment at the end of it,
You know,
big hug and blah blah blah.
have a hair versus mask match.
And he takes a mask off and gives it to Dom.
Possibly.
That could be
But
interesting.
there's no way that Dominic will wrestle in a mask, not as well established as he is right now.
Right. I mean, why would you put a mask on after the fact? The whole purpose of the mask is to hide your identity. Everybody knows what he looks like.
Right. So yeah,
That could be a good twist, like a retirement match.
it could be. Very well could be. Okay, the next match is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch. And just like Dominic, you can tell they have a lot of faith in Lyra because this is the third straight PLE for her when we're having a very hard time seeing any other women's champion on consistently because even the women's world titles are not consistently on the PLEs, and here she is three in a row.
Right. I don't think the feud is over. I think it's just starting. But now I think which you didn't get to see Raw last night. Um,
I
uh,
saw the clips.
so this match to me was a really good match. Um, it had a lot of good stuff mixed in this match. Um, it went back and forth. Um, Becky getting frustrated towards the end of it, with, doing her best moves and she's still kicking out.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it was a solid match. They work well together.
What got me? This is now the third time that I'm aware of this happening, but Lyra had a malfunction in her outfit.
That was early on too. She throws Becky out, and she's sitting there messing with it, and she had to get help from the ref to get it tied back up to continue on the match.
Because she had that same issue at the Rumble.
Shit, double knot that thing.
Huh?
Tie it up in the back and double knot it like we used to do with our tennis shoes back when we were kids.
Actually, on Saturday night, it looked like it was one of those button through. Like the snaps on jeans.
Okay, well, it could
That's
be.
what it looked like to me.
Need to change your wardrobe to make it tie and double knot it and be
But
done with it.
she had the same issue at the Rumble. And then I saw another clip of her and Roxanne from an old indie show, and she had the same problem then too.
You figured if you had that same problem multiple times, you'd come up with a different way to secure that thing. Even
I,
if you make it just a one piece thing where you just slip it over and tie the back section of it instead of the neck section.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, I'm not in wardrobe, so I'm just throwing my opinion out.
Yeah, I am not sure, and I'm thinking, okay, this is twice now on a PLE this year that she's had an issue. Change something up so that you don't have that problem.
And it may be, that may be the last time we see that. She may get with wardrobe and they may fix that issue.
We'll
So
see. We'll see. I don't know. Um,
I couldn't tell if she had feathers in her hair this time or not. I knew it was colored. I couldn't tell for sure if it was hair
it
dye
was
or
covered.
feathers. So we didn't have the feathers all over the ring like we did at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know that. It was like every time she got hit, another feather came off. I was like, holy cow, they're killing the chicken.
Yeah,
Um, but it's WrestleMania. She has to do something spectacular.
yeah, um,
I just never expected her to keep coming out with them wings.
yeah. She had them spread out pretty good
Yeah,
walking down the entrance, and people reaching out to touch it and all that stuff. So, and I saw where she was getting ready to take them off, and they swapped cameras real quick. Um, I guess to hide that little part of it, which didn't really make a lot of
no, I
sense.
didn't even notice that part.
Um,
Yeah, but yeah, I was figuring, I was pulling for Becky to win. Um,
I
not
was
only
hoping
this, but because what's
the
now going
stipulation,
on with Becky, with Bailey.
right? Of course, Becky winds up winning the match on a rollover and pulling the tights, where she couldn't kick out. Um, and then, which wasn't very clear on a couple different angles, but you could tell what was going on. And of course, at the end of it, Becky's making her raise her hand and just kept on antagonizing her. And raised her hand two or three times, and then now she's leaving, and now she's telling her she's got to put the belt around her waist. And she wound up doing that, and then grabbed Becky and doing belly to back on her.
The German suplex.
Yeah, and slammed her down in that and left, and then the music's playing, of course. And then goes to Raw last night where Becky's talking it up, doing a promo, and then Valkyria starts coming out almost to the ring, and then she winds up getting jumped by Bailey. Becky does. Becky just Bailey just beat the snot out of her. And at one point in time, she got out and was backing up and backed right into Valkyria, and she threw her back in the ring.
Yep.
So I figure I figure there'll be some kind of mixture in there with all three of them, triple threat somewhere down the road. And I see Becky winning that. Um, I don't think they're going to let her get the title and then immediately take it off, in a month from now.
What will probably happen is Bailey and Becky at Night of Champions, and then we'll get the triple threat at SummerSlam.
And I see Bailey if that is the fact that happened, I see Bailey winning to advance in that King of the Ring, that Queen of the Ring. Uh,
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about.
if she winds up fighting Becky for that, I'm not sure who's in the mix for the next Fatal 4 Way.
Actually, none of them are in the running for Queen of the Ring.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so they've already had Kyrie Sane, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez for the first one. The next one will be Jade Cargill, Mission, Nia Jackson, Piper Niven, Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, and then Asuka, Ivy Nile, Raquel Rodriguez, and Stephanie Vakir.
They have Oscar in there.
Yep. She is coming back on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah, they should have saved her as a surprise.
I agree.
That would have been a big pop.
I agree. You should say that.
Yeah. For the men's, they're saving somebody as a surprise because there's one match where there's a TBA on it, so somebody's coming in as a surprise. Cody Rhodes is in one of these matches, so that's going to be interesting to see if he advances to the finals of Night of Champions.
Probably. It really depends on the storyline, how they're going to mix things in with Cena, and we'll discuss the other stuff towards the
Right
end of
now,
that
we
match.
have Cena and CM Punk at Night of Champions, so Cody really doesn't have anything going on.
I'm gonna pick my. I'm gonna go ahead and pick my pick on that mystery guy, but we'll save it for later. We'll save it for later in the show.
Okay. All right, so yeah, Becky Lynch wins the Intercontinental title. Uh, like you said, I'm wondering if she really did have a handful of tights because it could not tell. I couldn't see if her hand was balled up or not. It looked like it was flat, but I don't know. So I wonder if she really did have a handful of tights or not. Maybe Green Shirt guy got a picture of it because he had a clear view.
Maybe so.
Huh?
I said maybe so.
Yeah,
I'm sure if we look around on social media, we'll see a picture of it somewhere.
we might. All right, next match is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. They had Seth Rollins, the winner, Andrade, El Grande Americano, L.A. Knight, Penta, and Solo Sequoia. I was actually torn between Chad Gable and L.A. Knight.
Chad Gable wasn't in the
Okay.
match. um, I was kind of leaning toward Penta. I didn't think anybody else. Maybe Rollins with the whole faction thing that they got going on. So I wouldn't have been surprised if Penta won it. Um, but when Rollins got it, it was like, it's part of the storyline that they got going forward, which makes a little more sense as far as excitement and who you got as champion at that point in time. This match was filled with a lot of crazy stuff,
Yes, it
um,
was.
and so was the main event. Main event was good. I like the point where they all basically turned on. At first, they turned on Rollins, and they were beating the
That was
snot out of
the
him.
first thing. They circled around him and he didn't realize it at first.
And Solo stayed out of it. He backed up, and then he kind of got his shots in after they had beat Rollins down a little bit, and then he's laughing, and next thing you know, they're all looking at him, and they start beating the snot out of him.
Yeah,
Um,
the he was trying to do this comedian that like yeah we got him and all of that, and then he starts to do this with for Penta, and Penta kicked him before.
yeah, um,
And then later Solo did the Penta walk.
yep, making fun of Penta,
Yeah,
and he just kept on doing it. Uh,
I
I'd like to see them two go one on one.
I don't know how I feel about Solo in this comedic thing. Um, because he was so deadpan on everything from the beginning up until now. Um, but when he does these facial expressions, I'm seeing Jimmy over and over and over because he makes the exact same faces. Um, so I don't know how I feel about Solo doing the comedic route.
Well, I didn't get to watch. Um, didn't get to watch the Night of Champions, but apparently Solo had said something to.
Night of
Um,
Champions is in a couple of weeks.
hmm?
You said you
That's
did.
it.
You said you didn't get to
No,
see Night of Champions. That's because it's still a couple of weeks from now.
Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide.
Okay.
Apparently, Solo had said something about Jacob Fatu at Night of Champions, or he might have said it backstage during something. I heard the announcer say something about it.
Are you
Solo
talking
was
about
talking
him
back.
saying all gas and no brains?
Yeah.
That was at SmackDown.
Okay. Okay. I didn't get to watch SmackDown.
Okay.
Um. So
Not at Worlds Collide or the future Night of Champions. You need to get the timeline right, Donald.
it's been a long day already, and it's only what 3 o'clock.
You still got the rest of the day to go.
Well, I got an hour, and I got to be somewhere else in an hour.
Yeah.
So, so Solo's climbing the ladder. Of course, he gets help from Jacob, and Solo thinks he's got him in his corner and all that. And Solo comes in and grabs him and takes him out. So man, I was excited to see Jacob finally take it to Solo. And
Yeah, but here's the thing: when that happened, he got a loud reaction, and then it seemed like people were booing him.
who, Jacob?
Yeah,
Well, they did when he said, "I love you, Solo." Is what I think is what when that happened. But when he pulled,
I hate you, but I'm talking about after he gave him the super kick. The crowd erupted, and then I thought I heard them booing him right after that. No, no, booing him after he put him to the ladder.
hmm, I'd have to go back and check that. I don't. I was so excited about it, it actually happening that I kind of blocked out all the crowd noise. Uh, I was finally glad to see Jacob standing, you know, basically turning on Solo.
Yeah, WWE they had no choice because he was coming in as an enforcer, but it was very apparent, very quick that this guy was going to be a megastar.
Right.
Um, but I don't think even they expected that to happen.
He's like Dominic. He's even though he's a heel type character, you still got crowd and fans behind him.
He does.
And it's been a slow transition, of that. Now I see after this, I can see him being a crowd favorite.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure that there's definitely going to be a match with him and Solo. Although, with as soon as they pulled this, it might end up being at Night of Champions, Solo and Jacob. I thought for sure that would be a SummerSlam match. Um, but I think it's very clear that Jacob Fatu will be main event in WrestleMania within the next 2 or 3 years.
I can see that.
Um,
You had a big shot. I don't remember who actually did it to him, but it was uh, un, Chad Gable. Uh, him getting slammed pretty hard off of one of the ladders. That kind of took him out of the match towards the end.
What was this where he got the cut on his back? Because I did notice he was bleeding at one point.
Really,
Yeah.
this was right towards the end. Somebody got him and pulled him off the ladder and slammed him down to the floor. I don't remember who it was, but it was
Oh,
pretty good shot.
L.A. Monkey flipped him back onto a ladder, and he hopped from that ladder to another ladder to the main ladder that Pinto was on.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
I think that
the
one there was more towards the end of the match.
Yeah. There's one part in the match where I backed it up a couple times to actually see if it really hit. And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, I got to see that again. I went back and did it again. It's like, oh, yeah, he really hit him. Uh, uh,
There was one where,
it was a ladder shot. It was the legs of the ladder hit Andrea uh, in
yes,
between the legs. I was like, oh, my God.
he reacted quick to that one.
Yeah. That was a kind of a I'm pretty sure that wasn't meant to happen, but it did. And it's like
No,
he got the hell beat out of him during this whole match.
yeah, yeah. Felt bad for Andrade at that moment.
And they had said, I heard the announcer saying, he just got hit in the Andrea uh, with a chair, and I was like, with a chair or a ladder.
Yeah, and for Chad to do all of that, he had gone through a hell of a match with Vikingo. Um, Chad went through a table during that match. It was a brutal match. And then he turns around and does all this at Money in the Bank.
And
You know that boy was tired.
Americano,
Yeah.
Americano, Chad Gable.
Uh,
Uh,
how did you like the two fireball ladders that came from under the ring?
Now, what was different between them and the regular tall ladders?
The,
Did the
these
paint
were
job?
these were the really really tall ladders where you didn't have to be at the top of the ladder to get the briefcase.
Okay.
Because usually the tallest ladder that they have, you still have to be like
You still got to reach.
run from the top to get there. With this ladder, you didn't have to. You could be like 7, 8 down from the top and still get to that briefcase. They had that one extra high.
Who was swinging off of it at one point in time? Was that Penta? Somebody had a hold of it and they didn't have their feet on the ladder and they were swinging back and forth.
I didn't see anybody swinging this year. I know Chad last year was swinging back and forth. Um, Let me see. Yeah, last year Chad was swinging back and forth. I didn't see anybody swinging back and forth this year.
They did it just a little bit. I just don't remember who it was when they had all those ladders stacked up next to each other.
Oh, I must have missed it then because I did not see that spot.
It wasn't like a great deal, but you could see where he was holding on to it. Of course, you still had the ladder there. You didn't have to fall all the way down to the floor.
I know the announcer. I don't remember if it was for the women's or for the men's. I know the announcer said that the briefcase itself was swinging because
Yeah,
somebody was trying to get it and somebody else stopped them, and it caused the
thing
briefcase
to move.
swing
Yeah,
out of reach. So, in a way, I wasn't surprised to see Seth win. Um, at the same time, I didn't think he should have won because he won this thing 10 years ago. So that's why I was kind of leaning towards Gable or Knight, more Knight than anybody, because he's getting older. He's 42 now. Um, actually, I think that makes him the oldest. Let's see, Solo is 32, Penta is 40, Chad is
35.
39,
Wow.
Andrade is 35, and Seth is 39.
I'm not surprised that Rollins won just because of the whole storyline they're building up with Paul Heyman and everybody. Still waiting to see Becky join. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but
I don't see how it can not happen.
yeah, I mean, it would be a good fit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm surprised that they still haven't done much with Becky after bringing her back.
Haven't done much with Becky. She just won the Intercontinental title.
I mean, not Becky, Alexa Bliss. I'm sorry, Alexa.
Oh. I
Um,
was gonna say what? Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised by that too.
I
Uh,
don't know what direction they're going with her. If she's going to wind up joining, the faction there, or what's going on.
well, if you notice, Alexa came back right before the YX6 did.
I was waiting for the lights to go out and a bunch of women being laying on the ground, except for Alexa. I was kind of looking for that to
I
possibly happen.
That never even crossed my mind. It would make perfect sense for her. Yeah. I'm
Maybe down the road, we're going to see that. Maybe SummerSlam, we'll see that whole new beginning for Alexa, and maybe that's what their plan is down the road.
Something's
Um,
going to have to happen because Alexa is still very much in that um, Fiend character. And so it doesn't make any sense to keep her separate from Night of
from
Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Yeah, but we have to wait and see.
So let's get on that last match.
Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. This match to me felt like it was forced. Like,
It was a bit. It's kind of a spur of the moment type thing. I don't know if they had it planned on Cody coming back and at this point in time, but I can see John Cena and Logan Paul. They're getting back and forth with each other. They're not a good partnership. They're too egotistical character wise. Um,
I was waiting
so
on them to start swinging.
right, they got a little bit of heat between each other
Mhm.
uh, in the match there. I think it had to do with the tag. I think it had something to do with it at the very beginning. It kind of saw that little bit, and then towards the end, you get sit there pushing on each other, and then of course they get both hit.
In the beginning, the way that I saw it was that they were doing quick tags before even locking up for the first time to get under the skin of Cody and Jay.
Yeah, um, I thought the match was pretty good as a whole. Yeah, I saw one thinking right. Saw one little mess up where Logan comes from the outside, jumps over the top rope and goes for that clothesline, and his knee buckled,
Oh
and
yeah.
and
Uh,
Uso wound up. They said Uso improvised. Jay improvised, and at that point in time, and super kicked, which looked pretty good. I mean, it worked pretty well. If that was
he
just a
he's lucky he
improv.
didn't tear anything in his knee because I don't know if that's the same knee that he had surgery on a couple years ago.
Yeah, knees are. Once you have that surgery on there, they're not as strong as before.
Yeah.
Um, I've done had three of them, so I know.
Oh, speaking of knee surgery, Zoe Stark finally had her surgery a couple days ago, I think.
I wonder if this is it for her. Yeah, I wonder if we'll see her
She
come
didn't
back.
say. There was a teaser at the end of this video. She put something out on X. Um, sounds like there's something's coming out on the 16th, June 16th. So I don't know. Um, she has had surgery on that knee before, and I'm afraid that it might be the end for her. I'm hoping not because I really like her.
I think she'll be rehabbing for a while
Oh yeah.
before she comes back, or if she comes back here, or she goes to NXT, or if she goes to another organization.
Well, she
Um,
tore everything. MLC, ALC, the meniscus. Uh, okay, let's see. Uh, we're at Rothman Surgery Center in Orlando to fix my ALC, MLC, and meniscus. Right now, I'm ready to get it over with. Uh, it was supposed to have been a 2 hour surgery, ended up being 3.5 hours. It ended with what's next for Zoe Stark, followed by the date June 16th.
so
So
that's going to decide, what if she's done in the ring or not.
maybe.
Um, she's got a long recovery on that.
Yeah. Charlotte, when she was out, she had the same thing ALC, MLC, and meniscus. And she was out for 14 months.
Yeah. So Zoe will be out for quite a while before
Yeah.
she comes back. Um, with I haven't watched all of Raw, but I know the outcome on the Jey Uso and Gunther match. Um, Gunther winds up winning, and I think it has to do with a possible injury to Jay during Money in the Bank. I'm hearing some reports on an injury that happened when he was on the announce table, and Logan Paul comes off.
Yeah.
Um,
When Logan did that backflip, he actually landed on Jay's legs. Because somebody got a straight on view instead of the side view, and he landed below the waist.
so I'm thinking that Jay got injured at some point in time, and maybe he's going to be out for a little bit, and that's why the whole title change
It could
happened on Raw. So I guess we'll get more info on that in the upcoming week. See
and that
what
would
what
also
else
explain why we didn't see Jay in the ring very much since he's won the title. Because he hasn't had a lot of matches.
I'm talking about just what happened at Money in the Bank. I thought he got injured there.
I don't know. But there had to have been something in place because this match had been scheduled for a month. We've known about this match for a month.
Yeah. Um,
So I don't know if there was something planned then. I'm going to go in and look up Jey Uso, see how many matches he's had. Okay. Since WrestleMania 41, he had a match with Seth Rollins,
Hmm.
Braun Breaker, and then Logan Paul at Saturday Night's main event. And then he had a match, a tag match, him and Sammy versus Braun and Bronson. And then the Money in the Bank, and then he lost. So he's only had 6 matches since he's won that title.
Which is actually not not many, but it ain't too few either. I mean, he's had a few matches from them compared to some that get one or two a month.
6 matches in a span of 51 days. That's how long his title reign was.
Let's see, you got March, April, May, and June, 3 months. Short of 3 months.
This is at the end of April. That towards the end of April, he won the title.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll hear maybe more reports on. We'll know something if Jay is not around anymore for a little while. You'll know something's up.
We will definitely find out. We'll notice real quick if people are not yeeting here in the next
Right.
weeks.
Um, that basically that launching off on the J on the announcer table took them out, both of the out of the match.
Yeah.
So the referee jumps out and starts checking on them, which leaves Cody and Cena in the ring. And
Oh, and while he was checking on Logan, he looked like he was dead, laying out there. That had that camera in his face. His eyes were like, I shouldn't have done that.
yeah, so while he's doing that, of course, Cena gets the title and hits Cody over the head with it, of course, knocking him down and standing there. And then this mystery man comes running out of thing, which uh, with a hoodie on, and winds up jumping on Cena and beating him down, and then gets the title and beats him down. And then while he's down, he pulls his mask and all off, and it's R-Truth,
Yeah,
and people went freaking nuts.
I got chills when he did that.
Man, it was the biggest pop of the night, and of course he gets the title and hits Cena across the head with it and slides back out, and Cody finishes up the match uh, with a win and all. But
So right there, you saw a difference in him because he had not done something like that in an extremely long time.
yeah, which leads us to Monday Night Raw, and as soon as it happened, after the match is over and pay per view is over, and I'm sitting there like, if this was a work, this was a work of genius. If it was all planned and the social media stuff of getting released and
Yeah,
all that stuff, I mean, it's like, if this is a work, that is like one of the best works in keeping something hid for so long. But you're getting mixed reports of it was a work, and then there's also people saying that it wasn't, saying that he wasn't taking phone calls.
is it? I would love for it to have been a work because it played us,
Yes,
but it also reaffirmed how popular he is.
right.
Um, I think Sam Roberts, one of the pre-show guys, I think he's the one that said it. Never before had there been a backlash on somebody's releases like R-Truth. Never.
And whether it was a work or not, if it was a work, it was one of the best works I've seen in a very, very long time.
Hmm.
With social media as big as it is, it's hard to keep a secret without having leaks and stuff coming out of you know out of organizations to let you know who's showing up and who's, you know. I like the whole surprise, you know. Um, Regardless, work or not, he's back. He showed up on Raw last night, out of the crowd. Well, he come off the side. I think he was in the crowd, but he come off hoodie and all, stood on the announce table, took his hood off, gave a great speech um, about don't let everybody tell you that you don't matter or your voice don't matter. He said y'all basically brought me back and people listened and all that. And he winds up cutting his hair.
That was that was a huge moment. Um,
They didn't bleep it out on Netflix, but it was like the holy shit chant after he cut his hair off, and then he announced that
they
he
did
was
bleep it out on the Facebook page. They did not bleep it out then.
okay. But he announces that he is Ron Killings and
Yeah,
all that. So, which leads me to the King of the Ring, unannounced. I do believe it'll be Ron Killings in that, to be determined. I think he'll be in there. And if he's in there, if they put him in there, he's going to win. That's my pick.
I'm very curious to see it. And I'm also thinking maybe they really might be planning on him dethroning John Cena.
That is not. I wasn't so big popular of it before, but after this coming back and changing his persona, I can very well see Cena being dethroned
Because people are saying
by.
that's a stupid thing to do. Have him be the one. No, it's going to be Cody. No, the way that I've been seeing this, it's going to be him beating John Cena.
That'll be the last match before he retires, and he's going to retire John Cena.
It makes perfect sense. So, in order for him to be the last match, that means he should not be the one winning the King of the Ring because King of the Ring will get the title match at SummerSlam.
Or maybe they'll do it that quick. Who knows?
I don't see John losing the title until his very last match. I don't see it happening. Although
Well,
he did get pinned by Cody. Um, I don't know. I To me, it seemed like they are pushing Cody much in the way that they pushed Roman, that they pushed him too hard, shoving him down people's throats. But people like Cody. I totally get that. But right now, something is happening with Ron Killens.
it's interesting, being fans that we are, and it's a good era to be in right now because we can't figure out the storyline of where it's going
And
um,
that's how it should have been forever.
for a long time. Yeah, it shouldn't be predictive.
Yeah.
Um, some things are predictive. Don't get me wrong, but now it's like where are they going? What's next?
Well, I found this out at Battleground when I was making my predictions and putting it in the chat with all you guys. I had the first four matches wrong. It wasn't until they did the last two matches I finally got had my picks win. But that first four matches, I was 0-4.
So on the next like SummerSlam, when they start announcing SummerSlam matches, we need to really go through there and analyze and make our picks, like we did on WrestleMania. I think uh, who's going to win and our reasoning why we think they're going to win for our storyline, or just it's just going to fit. I think we need to do that again for SummerSlam whenever that time rolls around.
And we got a bunch of events before SummerSlam comes around. Um, after,
We got King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring coming up.
yeah,
You got the
that's coming up on Night of Champions, and then we have Great American Bash for NXT, and then the same night will be the next Saturday night's main event, and then we have Evolution.
so the next one is Night of Champions, right?
Next one's is Night of Champions on June 28th.
Okay, that'll be Cena versus CM Punk.
Yes. And
Um,
then July 12th is Great American Bash in the afternoon for NXT. And then Saturday night's main event on Saturday night. And then the next day will be Evolution, the all women's pay per view. I'm
it's a
looking
busy
forward to that.
weekend. That's a busy weekend.
Yes. And then we will have SummerSlam at the start of August.
Okay.
So Cody and Jay won the tag match. And then they did the press conference right after that. Uh, Cody brought up the press conference they had at Backlash after they won the tag titles. He said, I have to come clean. I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. Jay and I were drunk, which we already knew that.
I knew Jay was. Uh,
Cody was too. And as soon as he said that they were drunk, Jay just started laughing. Like, yay! Um, so he did come clean with that. That holy cow! I remember watching that, and I'm thinking, what in the hell are these guys on? But that
well, I
was
knew.
the Heat thing came out
Yeah.
from that press conference. He kept saying Heat.
Yep.
Wow. Um, I was a little surprised to see John take the pin in that match,
Well,
but
it worked out really well with R-Truth coming back and the way it all panned out. You couldn't get Logan back up after that. He wasn't coming back in the
no,
ring after that whole move set. So didn't have anything other than him take the pin. And I think it worked well with he took the pin, but it was with controversy, outside interference, so it didn't tarnish him losing, taking the pin. It
yeah,
was a regular way to lose. So it's kind of karma. He's been using the title as a weapon over the past few times, and it finally came back on him. Um,
and our truth of all people is the one who hit him with the belt.
right. Cena came on last night, bad mouthing R-Truth a good bit, and just bad mouthing the people's decision to bring him back. He's a joke. He's the sideshow, and his biggest thing is mimicking me. So I
And
see.
our truth comes out and does what he did. So this is why I think that this is going to be built.
Yeah, it's not going to be a quick thing. It's going to be a little while. So Cena's not going to lose uh, to Punk.
No,
Um,
he's not going to lose to Punk. I'm pretty sure he's not going to lose it at SummerSlam. I believe he will hold the title until December, and he will lose it in his last match ever.
what I would like to see is uh, so he's fighting CM Punk next. I'd like to see Truth come in there and just be a over the next course of the next few months, just be this thorn in CM Punk or Cena's side, just constantly just interfered here or there, just
Maybe not
constant.
interfering, but just appearing.
Right,
Like be sort of like a distraction without actually doing something.
right. Just be a thorn in his side for the next few months.
Yeah.
And just drive him nuts,
And then,
until it finally comes to the final thing where
yeah,
he puts the title up with him.
because I do believe it's going to come down to him, and he will be the one to set John Cena straight. And after John loses, he sees the light and turns face fine again. Because I think he will walk away as a face. He will get a huge standing ovation.
I think it'll be him if he does wind up losing it to R-Truth. I think he'll shake hands, hug, whatever at the end of it, and that'll be his way to go back babyface and be uh,
Yeah.
retired.
And then at next year's WrestleMania, he headlines the Hall of Fame.
I can see that.
Yeah. But let's see if that's the way they go.
Predicting. What's
Hi,
up, Tom? Came in right at the end, man.
yeah, you did. Although we're only 92 minutes into the show,
Yeah, I've
we
got.
actually kept on topic tonight.
Yeah,
Well,
so
for the most part,
for the most part, we got everything covered too. So,
we did. Yeah. Now,
uh,
having talked about Worlds Collide, we probably would not even be in Money in the Bank at the moment.
maybe we can do well, we just have to see, 21st, 22nd.
The 21st, 22nd, I think, that weekend. Yeah. Now, he just got off work.
I'm fixing to go start my second job here in a few minutes.
Yeah, and I need to
Which,
get
which
back.
really ain't a job. I enjoy it.
Huh?
I said I'm fixing to go do a few things from one of my second jobs, and which really ain't a job. I enjoy it. I got to go run a rank test here in a few minutes from my class. Should
Well,
take about an hour.
at least with your second job, it takes you 30 seconds to walk there from your house.
Yeah, it ain't very far. It's just
Yeah,
down the road.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
It just worked out really well that way. We got the house, several years ago, and like looking for a new location for my karate class. And hey, I wonder if we own this building down here. It's been empty forever. It's like it worked out well. And like
Worked out very well, yeah.
I'm a 3 minute walk to my class. I'm about a 5 minute walk to my actual work if I need to walk.
Is it 5 minutes? It seemed like it'd be a bit longer than that.
It's not even really that far. It's like I think I measured it one day. It's like 700 yards or something
Oh,
from my
wow.
work. It's
That
not
is,
it's not far at all.
yeah,
So it's
that is
just like
close.
go to my class, take a
Maybe,
right.
oh,
Yeah, go to my class, take a right. I can be from here to my work in 3 minutes driving. That's getting in the car, getting there.
yeah.
So
Okay. Well, all righty. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We are both going to get back to work. So, yeah, because I forgot all about that. Today was going to be the day we were going to do our show. Usually we do our makeup show on Wednesdays,
yeah,
but it worked out.
but it's good to come live and not have to repost.
Well, that's what I tried to do, make it to where we can go live. Um, like I said, it worked out.
It worked out.
So,
So keep watching. Thanks for watching this show or watching the replay.
yeah, you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, and also um, usually the day after we go live. Unless I'm lucky, I can get this thing put on Spotify real quick. I need to put the Spotify address on the page. I don't know if I have done that or not.
I need to come up with a way to put it on the screen. Uh,
There isn't.
what if you edited the things and, or what if you edited this bottom section there and had the stuff as a clip art underneath there?
Oh, you mean like a link?
Well, no, not necessarily. Like if you had, well, it'd be great if it was a link to click on, but if you had it like, how you got Southern Paranormal, and things over here on the bottom,
Oh, yeah.
put something in the center there with some addresses.
That's an idea. But I would want something where they can actually click on it, so I would have to put it on the chat because I can pin comments on the chats.
All right, you could do that. Get it where you can cut and paste from your computer and just move it right over to the chat and
Yeah,
put it in there.
cause I can put anything I want on the background. It's just nobody would be able to click on them, and that's what I would
Right,
prefer them to have something to actually click on.
right.
So, oh well, but lots of new things will be coming from Marks on Wrestling. We were talking before the show. Got a couple things in mind that we're going to be talking and fighting and scratching and clawing all over. So see what we can come up with, what we can release. Hopefully, hopefully it won't be too long before it comes out. Knowing my luck, it'll be another year before I can do it. But hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we can come out with something.
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah. All right. So we will plan on reviewing Worlds Collide a week and a half from now.
Sounds good. Father's Day is right around the corner, so everybody have a happy Father's Day.
Yep. And then my birthday is right after that,
When's your birthday?
26.
26.
It's
All right.
2 weeks from Thursday.
All right.
I'll be 45.
45 ain't that bad.
Yeah.
I'll be 54 this year.
So you get one sequence, I get the reverse sequence.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are going to go ahead and call it a day. Thank you so much for playing along with us. And we will see everybody next time.
Yeah.
Have a good day, everyone.